everyone, and welcome back, or welcome to the channel. We are finally getting some meaningful snowfall up here in Boston. I mean, I bought this WRX back in November of 2023. It's only seen snow once. So this is the first time we actually have some unplowed roads here that I can actually have some fun with this car. But the reason why I'm making this video is because about 5 to 6 months ago, I was on this railing right here talking about the potential of an STI returning. Well, here we are in January 2025, and we're actually going to get an STI. Unfortunately, not here in the US. But I want to give my personal take and spin on this car as a WRX owner, as someone who has fallen in love with the VB generation, and give my take on what I think Subaru should be doing here with the STI, and if it does come to America, it needs a lot more than what we currently have here with the new S210. Before we even dive into the features and what this car is offering in regards to performance, we got to talk about the fact that it is a limited production run of 500 units for Japan primarily. Now, because it is for Japan, you get the Subaru's performance transmission, which is a CVT. Now, I have no issues with the SPT because I think it performs very well. One of the best CVTs out there, which is kind of a sad statement, but it is what it is. In Japan, no one drives manuals anymore, and that's kind of a sad statement when you think about it, because the iconic 80s and 90s JDM cars, just the iconic STI and WRX cars that they came out with in the late 90s, early 2000s, and now no one wants to buy a manual over there. That's just so sad and depressing, to say the least, in the 21st century. Now, with this only being a limited production run, even if they decide to offer that in the United States, you're looking at a car over 60 grand, because with the S209, it came in over $64,000. And I remember when it came into Subaru of Wakefield, the person who bought it took it immediately, and they did work in the dealership, so they kind of had an inside track on it. But I thought they were nuts, because I really thought that the S209 would stick around a bit, because at $64,000, you could get far better cars out there. Now, with the S209, you got a better power plant. You got the 2.5-liter turbo and 341 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque. It was paired with the 6-speed manual. This was really the ultimate STI. Now, its successor, the S210, kind of falls short of its predecessor in more ways than one. So let's dive into these performance numbers. So with the S210, you get the 2.4-liter turbo that we have under the hood of our WRX, giving us 296 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. Now, you do have an upgraded ECU and also intake and exhaust system. So it probably sounds cooler. It definitely looks cooler for sure, but 296 horsepower, that's about 25 horses more than my VB WRX. So you're not talking a massive increase in performance here. And just from that alone, it's a disappointment, right? Because you want a car over 300 horsepower. The fact that the GR Corolla gives you that, the Honda Civic Type R, and then the Volkswagen Golf R all give you over 300 horsepower. Now, of course, for a car at around $60,000, you want that all-wheel drive system. You're going to have functional second-row seats, so it is going to be somewhat practical. But if we're talking about a car that is really a collector's item, a legendary STI, from the number standpoint, it's far from that. Now, on top of the performance upgrades, you also get new chassis and handling dynamics here with electronically controlled dampers by ZF. You also have revised coil springs and rear stabilizer bushes. You also receive drilled and ventilated brake discs, Brembo 6-pot calipers up front. And also, for me, what I love is the 19-inch BBS forged wheels wrapped in Michelin Pilot 4S tires. I wish we got the Michelin Pilot 4Ss for our WRX, because I put on the Michelin Pilot 4Ss all seasons. Love them. They're actually doing quite well up here in Boston during this little snowstorm here. But I wish we had that, because you're going to have better performance. Those tires, I'm a big Michelin fan. I'm not paid by them, but I like what Michelin tires offer. So from a handling standpoint, if you're taking it to the track, it's going to be better equipped. Also, maybe it's the 19-inch wheels, maybe it's the revision to the chassis. I like the fact that it looks flush from factory. So it gives you that race car look, and it is based off of the Nürburgring Challenge car, which I think that was the right decision. The carbon fiber rear wing looks phenomenal on it. I like that you have the gloss black painted fender flares. No cladding there, although there is some here and there. That's to be expected with the VB. But I think it looks like a race car that is street legal. And from a design standpoint, from the exterior, Subaru nailed it. Like, I think it looks better than the S209. I think it's one of the best looking WRXs out there. But then again, I do like the design of the VB, and that's just me, even though I did keep the cladding for the design of my car. I could have put on color matching fender flares, but I just decided, being up here in New England, the plastic cladding would actually go very well up here when you take on those winter road conditions. However, as much as I like the exterior of the S210, I think Subaru did even better for the interior with the carbon bucket seats from Recaro. That looks great. I mean, I'm actually a bit jealous here. I wish Subaru would offer something like that for our VBs. And then also they removed the fake carbon fiber weave for the door panels, and they gave you more of a gloss black look instead. Now, obviously the gloss black is going to be difficult to clean, and I'm glad we don't have that here for our WRXs, but I think it would look better for the door panels than this fake carbon fiber weave, though. That's just my take. But I think the interior is more inspiring. It's more track-focused, more enthusiast-focused. And with the VB, and I've talked about this before, I think with this generation WRX, Subaru aged this car up a bit more, since a lot of the buyers who like what the WRX is offering, looking for that 6-speed manual, looking for a car like this, have kind of grown up throughout the generations of the WRX, and they're looking for a car they can still enjoy, but also be conducive for a family or their lifestyle in their 30s and 40s, and they've done that here with this generation. But the S210 truly is a track-focused monster and toy, which definitely speaks to me at 30 years old. But there is another side to the equation here, right? Because there's the ownership group. There's people who have owned the WRX, wanted more out of this car, looking for something a bit more aggressive and hardcore. Subaru just proved they can do that. Now, unfortunately, it's limited production. Might not even come to the US. There might not even be an edition for us here in the North American market. And that's all understandable. But with this 2.4 that no one's talking about here, yes, has less than 300 horsepower, but they can give us an STI without having it be electrified, without having it be hybrid. So they can definitely deliver with a 2.4 with 350, 400 horsepower. We've already seen what people can do with this powertrain. I mean, Subaru did not tune this engine at all. I mean, they could have gone a lot further with it. So they can definitely drop this engine in to an STI, make it mass-produced in North America, and there we go. We have a car that has Recaro bucket seats, maybe carbon fiber everywhere, gives us a car that actually is going to be aggressive, sporty, track-focused, more equipped for what enthusiasts are looking for, right? Because with the WRX, whether it is the TR or TS, those Brembos are just still not giving you enough. Also, I don't think that the design is all that earth-shattering. With the STI, they can do that. Give us a carbon fiber rear wing. Give us the Michelin Pilot 4S tires. Give us stronger Brembos. Give us a track-looking car. And I think everyone would buy it. Now, it all comes back to pricing, though, because if you do mass produce this, are we now in the $50,000 category? Are we under 60 grand? Because at $55,000, even if you gave us an STI with 350 horsepower, that's worth it. That's totally worth it. I mean, you had people lining up for the Type R, you had people line up for the Golf R, and those two cars aren't giving you 350 horsepower. I think people would buy it. I really do, especially when you are comparing this to a Honda Civic Type R. That's front-wheel drive. This would be all-wheel drive. I think there is a market for it. I think Subaru should bring this over in any capacity, see if there's any traction here in the US, and roll with it. I think there is. Also, we don't have aggressive emissions regulations yet. Give us one last STI. Give us one last STI that's fully gas-powered, not hybrid, not electrified, and I think people would buy it. But that's just my take. I want to know what you guys think. It has been a while since I've made a video on this channel, but I couldn't resist because I like what this car is offering, maybe not necessarily with this transmission or horsepower currently, but I think there's potential here. I want to know what you guys think. But guys, once again, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you guys next time.